It's actually a production that's been written by Amber Grosman, who comes from Cairns, and it's a bit of a reflection of some personal journeys of her own. And it's a deep story that really looks at coercive control and relationships and those sorts of issues through contemporary theatre. So it's something very different to what Bundaberg audiences are used to seeing. But the angle that we've gotten involved with this is the darts touring program that's run by Jute Theatre in Cairns. So that's actually driving and activating regional theatre is the program, and we've been chosen as a host partner in that program. And it's about touring regionally created work in Queensland and how it can go into little venues, really different venues. So the show that's bumping in right now has just been in a massive theatre in Toowoomba. It's been at Bumbajar in Cairns, and now it's bumping into a very different space here at the Winter Garden. And for us, it's also about the storytelling element. So we want to tell stories that are actually a bit more transformative for communities with that angle of wellbeing. So how can we get the public talking about important issues in our community and then transforming some thoughts and ideas through the arts?
Now, this production itself, you said it's touring throughout Queensland, so it's not a local production, but are there local people involved?
Yes, there's quite a few local people. So as part of the model of this particular show, we engaged Regional Director Cheryl Ratcliffe, and then we've got a cast of 3 in the local chorus. So they are performing and rehearsing for the first time in person with Amber Grosman today as the director of the show and interacting with the touring cast. So we've got Stella, Eva and Bridget from Bundaberg who are actually going to be performing as the local chorus, and they play a very pivotal role actually in the storyline and guiding the other lead actors through the storyline.
That's different again too. It's a touring production but with a local element. That's something not used to seeing here at Bundy at all, as you said.
Yeah, it's those models that we're really interested in exploring and encouraging different ways of looking at theatre and the different roles within creative industries as well. So we've got a lot of volunteers today helping us set up the theatre. They're all people who are really interested in the arts in some form, whether it's film or getting involved in theatre productions. So they're all learning on the job, and hopefully in the long term we'll be creating some pathways to employment for some people as well.
Now, this is all fascinating stuff, and as someone who is a lover of the arts, I'm excited about the idea. But how does this fit into who Bridges Health and Community are?
Well, it's actually been a couple of years in development that we've been looking at arts-led wellbeing, which we're now calling creative wellbeing, as a core program now of Bridges. So in 2021, Bridges purchased the former Bundaberg Fire Station to turn that into an arts precinct, an arts and wellbeing precinct. So I was engaged to develop the strategy around that. And then it's evolved a lot over the last couple of years as we've been talking with community and with funders and with different people who are coming from the different sectors, from the health sector and from the arts sector, evolving it into what its potential is and filling a niche. We're very much wanting to stay in our lane. We've got a lot of amazing organisations doing amazing things in this town already, in the arts and in health. So this is very different, and we're making sure that we don't do what the Playhouse do. We don't do what other people are doing. They're already doing that really well. So we're offering something that's a little bit different, and we're looking more at that career development side of things for people and pushing boundaries into different ways of producing the arts and performing.
So how do you see that focusing back in on wellbeing? That's a really interesting way of looking at it, is arts and wellbeing, mental health, combining together. It's not always easy to do that.
No, it's not. But when you think about it, you even think about COVID and that time where people were really struggling a lot with mental health. They turned to music, they turned to TV and movies, they turned to a lot of things that are actually based in the arts because it's storytelling and it's connection. And that's what the arts provides. So we're really able to offer programs that people can connect and get to meet like-minded people by getting directly involved in a project. Or they can be in the audience and find some sort of transformative process through understanding the story that's being communicated through that particular art form.
So tell us a little bit about Bridges' connection to the Winter Garden Forum. Now, this was a building that was redeveloped and changed a little bit, and the upstairs area of this looks really nice when you're starting to bump in a theatre production. But how does that work for Bridges itself, taking on a lease at this particular space?
Yeah, it's really fortunate that we've got a board that has seen the vision of this project and has endorsed it. So there is a lot of investing from our organisation in getting this all set up and running, and a lot of time that's going into writing funding applications to activate the different spaces, but also to activate the spaces with amazing programs. So there's lots and lots of partnerships that we're developing locally and throughout Australia that are hopefully going to lead to really transformative things like a circus school is on the agenda, and particularly digital media, and focusing on how we can engage young people in digital media from that creative industry side of things. And we're building lots of partnerships around that at the moment.
And you mentioned before about taking on the former fire station as an arts precinct. How does that then fit in with what your vision is with Winter Garden?
Well, the fire station is going to be a bit of a grungier space. The Winter Garden's very pretty, as you've seen. So it will be slightly different in its focus, and we will have some visual arts focus on that end of town. But up this end of town, it's going to be mostly performing arts and also looking into digital media, because this was the home for, well, it was actually the first place that a talkie movie was ever shown in Bundaberg. So it's got that history around film and performance. So that's what we're sticking with for this particular building with the programming that we're developing.
Okay, so there's so much more that we could explore, but we'll save that for another time, Shelley. But tell us just finally a little plug for O for Ophelia. It's happening tomorrow night here at the Winter Garden, so give us the lowdown.
So yes, you can get your tickets. There's a Humanitics site for Bridges Health and Community Care. If you go onto Humanitics and search for Bridges Health and Community Care, you will find the link to buy a ticket. It's only $35 to grab a ticket, but there's not too many seats left actually. So we're really excited that we've got a nearly sold out show for our first show since 1968, which was when the theatre closed down.